Hi, everybody. This is Burge Smith-Lyons with the Essence of Being preview tonight to give you a little taste of what the workshop is all about. And I just invite you all to get a pen and paper handy so that you can explore with us tonight. I plan on not wasting your time so that you can learn some things about yourself as well as learn things about what the Essence of Being and all of the many workshops that we do is all about. So I thank you all for showing up. That's 90% of it. So those of you who are on the call, you can write in your questions as you have them, or if you'd like to speak, I've got you unmuted at the moment so everyone can speak, and then I will take you off of that, and I will be able to mute you at that point. I'll mute you again. So without further ado, let me start to give you an example or to share with you what this crazy workshop is all about that you may be interested in, or someone may have told you about this. And so, again, make sure you have pen and paper because it will be experiential, and I want you to get as much as you can out of this. So here we go. So let me click on this, and there you go. So my question for all of you is, how many of you are totally satisfied with the results that you're getting in your careers, in your relationships, in your love life, and your life in general? Are you totally satisfied? Well, how many of us are wanting to improve on them? Hopefully all of us. No matter where you're at in your life, you might want to have you might have the desire that you want to improve or change something. So if anybody has anything they want to improve on, or if they have anything they want to change based on where they're at now, in their money situation, their love life situation, their friendships, their family, their purpose, their passion, health, all of those things, all starts with who? Yes, ourselves. So how many of you want to have profound results? And what I'm talking about when I say profound results is you may need to have more distinctions in our life to create what we want. So by saying to the universe and saying out loud, I want profound results, then that is one way to start focusing on having that. Some people say, well, I only want to have a little bit of results. And if that's you, then I encourage you to play big and play bigger and not be afraid. And hopefully, as you join us with the workshops in live in person, you will be able to have that. So how do we do that in the workshops? Well, as you can see on the screen, we have experiences. So this is an experiential workshop, just like this webinar is experiential, meaning that we give you all kinds of experiences during the weekend. We play games, we do exercises, we do role-playing, one-on-one kind of things, meditations, journaling, all kinds of ways to experience life. And what we have found is that the way you play games is the way you play life. So oftentimes what happens is you're having fun in the workshop and you have these ahas that are coming up left and right about how you play life. And if these belief systems that you find out about yourself are working for you and they are serving you, then definitely keep them. But if they're not, then you get to identify what are those belief systems that are keeping me limited, that are keeping me blocked, perhaps keeping me from going to the next level, whatever that is. So once you have an experience in the world, you do something, just like what we'll do in the workshop. You have an experience, and now you have knowledge. You go out into the world and you say, wow, that really was great. I think I'll do that again. Or you go out into the world and you say, that experience did not serve me at all. So now you have a little bit of knowledge. So that knowledge, you can say, no, I'm not going to do it again. So basically, once you have the experience, then you think about it, you reflect on it, and that can create the profound results. So that is what we do in the workshop, is we give you experience after experience after experience. Then you get to reflect on it, and then you can decide how you're going to shift your life and create profound results. So what are you going to get out of this webinar tonight, and what are you going to get out of Essence of Being, you might ask? Well, you're going to learn how to create more wealth and freedom. You will learn how to clear your unconscious blocks to create more prosperity, healthy relationships, and peace. Many of us don't know that we even have unconscious blocks. And how you can tell is if you have something blocking you, just look at your results. In other words, how you can tell what's going on in your unconscious mind, just look at your results, because that's what shows up. That's what's running the bus. So if you don't have everything that you want in your life, then you may have some kind of unconscious limiting beliefs that are keeping you from being as prosperous as much as you'd like, or peaceful, or healthy relationships. So we also, in the essence of being, will discover and release any negative emotions around money and relationships. And we also create a safe, sacred space for you to gain clarity about your higher self and explore your connection to your source and create opportunities to receive what you really deserve by changing your beliefs. So why now? Why would you want to do this now? Well, ask yourself, do I want to stay in the same place I'm in now? Or if I do want to stay in the same place I'm in now, how long do I want to stay there? When do I want to make a shift? The other question is, how much longer can I live working for money and have it control me instead of the other way around, if that is something that you're working on? Or how do you say, when can I be financially free and stop worrying? Years from now? Or would you like to start today? And also, when do I want to have a conscious relationship with my partner, or even have a partner? And how much longer do I want to not live my purpose and passion? So those would be good reasons about why now. So just to give you an idea of where I came from and my story, so that you know a little bit more about who I am and what I have been through in my life, is that long ago, I guess you could say, I was bankrupt. I was a single mom. I had a 2.5-year-old son. I was divorced. I had lost everything. I'd lost my business, my home, my everything. All I had left was my car and my son. And my car had one headlight and one door that did not work. So I had to crawl out of my car in and out through the window. I'll never forget the moment that I drove into a Mercedes dealership and I parked away from the store so people would not see me in my broken down car. And I walked in like I owned the place because I wanted something better for myself and my child. I knew I could have it too. So the Mercedes was the symbol that I was breaking through all of this. I was breaking through any barriers that I had. And so I did my vision boards, my affirmations, changing my self-talk and my belief systems, and I would smell the leather seats, and I'd go in there and take the Mercedes for a test drive, imagining my hair flowing in the wind. And I felt hopeful. And with the help of my friends and knowing and teaching these principles of prosperity and emotional healing and law of attraction and all the universal principles that I'm going to share with you, I believed in all of those, and I kept believing that I was in a growth opportunity. So I surrounded myself with people who reminded me of who I was, even though I was scared. I had faith that these principles would work. And I'll never forget that feeling of being able to drive up to that Mercedes dealership and buy what I wanted later. So I never gave up during those times, and I still don't. And I encourage all of us to never give up. No matter what dreams we have, don't give up on them. Because not so many years later, by the way, I love this picture of the frog choking the crane, because that's how it feels sometimes, like you're going down with a ship, but you're not going to give up. So again, not so many years later, I have now, these are pictures of me. I've been with my husband for 17 years. I wrote a vision for a perfect father for my son, and he showed up. And I own several businesses, and I do real estate investing, and I'm teaching all over the country, and I have graduates from all around the world. And since then, I've made more money than I've ever had, more assets. I have millions in assets now, and I've traveled and played around the world, and like I said, taught thousands of people in the last 35 years. So these are just pictures of some of the things that I've done recently. and what's happened in my life in the last year. And I tell you all of this not to gloat, but to be a testimony that these principles that I'm going to share with you in the workshop and tonight, that these belief systems work no matter where you are in your quest for love or prosperity or purpose. You too can have what you want. And these are just some of the pictures of me teaching all through those years. So, what are you going to get out of the workshop? What do we teach? So a couple things that we go through is law of attraction, which is now in the mainstream, which is great. We've been teaching this for 21 years as Essence of Being, and now everybody's talking about it, but it is where your vibration, you attract what you vibrate. So there are many universal laws, and law of attraction is just one of them. So we do go into that a little bit. Thought creates reality, that what you think you create. Visioning, we hold a magnificent future in your mind and your heart. And also we talk about responsibility versus blaming, shaming, and making excuses or justifying. And what that means is that a lot of times we give our power away by blaming someone or making excuses or shaming ourselves. We give our power away. And so we really look at that personal responsibility of claiming our power back and focusing on what we want. Because in the workshop we say, what you focus on expands, it gets bigger. Also, we really, really put a mirror up so that you can see, it's a metaphorical mirror, by the way, that you add value, that knowing that you make a difference. A lot of people forget. They forget who they are and that they're important and that they're making a difference in their life and how they can continue to do that. And we help people release their old beliefs and paradigms and replace them with new ones if they're not working for them. And we help you learn how to speak your truth. A lot of people are afraid to speak up, or they don't want to hurt people's feelings. And we give you new communication techniques on how to speak your truth. We also help people move through their fears. And as A Course in Miracles talks about fears, it's false evidence appearing real. So all of us have fears, and we basically talk about it head on. And we help you walk through your fears, because on the other side of it, through those breakdowns, there's a breakthrough. And through the breakthrough, you get to break free. And we also have a new way of looking at relationships, creating synergy and orbiting in love instead of falling in love and falling out of love. So what we talk about and we work through in the workshops is what's a better, maybe perhaps a better way of not losing ourselves within a relationship, and just a new reframing of what that can look like. We also help people really get a sense of how to trust. Many of us have been betrayed in our life, and so we help you trust and embrace the dance, to really feel again what it feels like to perhaps trust for the first time, or at least trust again. And if you're not trusting other people, then it's about trusting yourself. And tonight we're going to help you live outside the box. So we're going to give you an opportunity to learn about yourself and what box you keep yourself in. Also, the point of power is in the present. We really get into the present moment is where the change happens. And we help you learn how to stay present and not check out all the time. And the other thing that we do in the workshop is we have a lot of fun. You know, we're not meant here to come here and suffer. So through the learning and through the experiences and through the games we play, you're having a lot of fun, and while you're doing it, you're really learning about yourself. Because for things to change, first, I must change. So if you want to improve anything in your life, it comes from inside first. And we really give you an opportunity to experience who you really are in a 3-day weekend. And we look at the law of appreciation. Because some of us may say, okay, we're not happy with the relationship we're in, or the business we're in, or the career we're in. And what we help you do is to focus on appreciation and what a powerful force that is. And speaking of powerful force, we also look at forgiveness. The power of forgiveness is incredibly important, and we do quite a bit of work around forgiveness, or a lot of play, if you will. And the other thing that you'll get out of this weekend is that you'll be able to experience the true essence of love, trust, self-esteem, commitment, integrity, and abundance. So, but don't take my word for it. This is somebody that did our workshop. This is LeGrand. He was a 4-time Emmy-winning producer with the Oprah Winfrey Show. And as you can see, he says, it's indescribable, it's undeniable. The workshop transformed my outlook on my life's vision because he stopped self-sabotaging himself. He had a lot of guilt around some things that happened to him and what he did, and he could not see his own innocence. And what he started to do was create more of letting his little boy play. And he's a 4-time Emmy-winning producer of Oprah Winfrey, so that's pretty cool that happened for him. So you too can let go of any guilt that you might have. And we're going to ask you, look, what patterns do you have in your life? Do you ever ask yourself the same thing, saying, why does this keep happening to me again? So we help you discover and identify these repeating patterns that don't serve you. You ever said, wow, this is happening again. It's a different face, but the same issue in a job or a relationship or a business? So we always ask, okay, if that's the case, who is the common denominator? That's right, you are. So how we do it is through super learning. It's an accelerated learning process. That's one of the ways that we offer you this learning. And super learning uses the right brain, which is that intuitive, that emotion, creativity, and the left brain, which is linear, math, logic, words, all of those things, and combine the two of them to create an integrated whole brain experience. And what I mean by that is, if you think about it, traditional education, it juxtaposes the two. You're either right brain or left brain. And what we do in the workshop is we help develop to go back to that whole brain experience that you had when you were children. And typically before the age of 7, that's when you're the most whole-brained. Because children can learn music and language and all of those things a lot easier than we can, because they are whole-brained. And so the least outcome that you can expect when you come to the weekend is that your IQ goes up. So that's the least thing you can expect. So this was so powerful for one of the doctors that took this up in Rhode Island, and she said, you know, I've attended many development workshops, but was intrigued by the experiential discovery for balance in that personal, professional, and spiritual aspects. So we don't just talk about the professional or the personal or the spiritual. We combine all of it, because that's part of what makes us all up. We have all of these aspects: mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. And so we explore all of those. So, for instance, if you see on the screen, this is your brain, and this is your brain on workshop. And what that means is we have conscious thoughts and we have unconscious thoughts. Our conscious thoughts are positive and negative, just like, you know, I want a red Mercedes, I want to have a happy marriage, I want to be fulfilled, I want to feel peace. Those are conscious thoughts. We also have positive and negative unconscious thoughts. So those unconscious thoughts are either subconscious or unconscious, meaning that we don't know what they're thinking. So how do we know what they're thinking down there? So again, as I said earlier, you look at the results. That gives you a clue. How are you living your life? So these unconscious thoughts are the drivers of your bus on the journey of your reality. So you may consciously choose to have a different reality, but there's something blocking you from having it. And you may be saying one thing, but you might be believing something entirely different. So for instance, if you do little affirmations that I call little lies you tell yourself, that you don't believe until they become true. And these affirmations seemingly don't work as fast as you'd like them to work. Consider that your conscious and your unconscious are not aligned. It's sort of like, if you look at the picture here, it's sort of like your gas is your desire. Those are your conscious thoughts. That's what you desire. That's what you really want. So you're putting your gas on. That is positive thoughts that you want. Well, you also could be putting on your brake. Your brake is resistance, or your belief that you can't have it. So those brakes could be your unconscious thoughts. So what happens when you are driving along and you have your gas and your brake on at the same time? That's right, you spin your wheels. You feel stuck. So ask yourself, have I ever felt stuck? So what happens a lot of times is people know how to let go of their desire. They know how to let go of what they want, and they settle. But what we do in the weekend is we help you let go of the resistance, the unconscious belief systems that you may have that have kept you where you are or kept you in a place that you're uncomfortable with. So we help you release that instead of your desire. So what you resist persists. So if you keep resisting all the things that you don't want, then it keeps showing up. It keeps persisting over and over again until you shift that unconscious belief. So let me give you an example. See, the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between an actual experience and the one that is imagined. Quantum physics has actually proven that now, things that we metaphysicians have known for a long time. So let me give you an example about money. So our conscious thought about creating money might be, okay, I want to have a credit, I'll check my credit report, I'll do some investment strategies, I have all these tools at my disposal to create money, and I'll do some affirmations just to throw in for good measure. However, if your unconscious is saying, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, I'm not worthy, then that will block you. That will block your true essence. So, for instance, if you think of creating what you want in the world, it's sending a signal or an energy vibration out from your brain to the universe to create it for you. So you've accumulated a ton of evidence from your past that you cannot have certain things in your life, or maybe life's too hard, or whatever your belief system is, it's formed. So then you believe that all of these things that are happening in your life are real until you receive new evidence. And that's what we do in the weekend, is we give you new evidence that all of these things may not be exactly true. So let me give you another example of your conscious and unconscious in a relationship. Let's say you consciously you want to have a partner, so you do a dating service, or you go out on dates, or let's say you already have a partner but you want it to be more loving and deeper, or at least be understood. So you go to counseling, or you go on a vacation. Those are all conscious. But if you have an unconscious thought that I'm not wanted, or I can't trust men, or I can't trust women, or I'm not worthy, then that can absolutely create a limiting belief for you. So the new beliefs are really important. Here's someone that had a new belief taking this class in Florida. Let me go back. She said, you know what? I have new beliefs around money that's allowed me to open to receive cash from all possibilities. So just 2 weeks after the class, I received a promotion at my job, and she began to notice an increase in her sales. So that's an example of one shifting your belief and how that manifests very quickly in your life. So let's go and see what some of the things you heard, and let's keep the subject on money for just a minute. So what did you hear about money and rich people, and where did you hear them from? So as the slide shows you, we hear from our parents, from our society, from religion, from grandparents, from school, from teachers, from friends. And so all of these things that we hear about money and rich people, we start believing about ourselves. So let's go there. Let's go to that unconscious place, and let's see what it is that has perhaps kept you stuck or not where you want to be. So what I'd like for you to do is to get out of your paper and your pencil, and I want you to rate yourself 1 through 10. I'm going to give you 10 different sayings on the screen, and I want you to rate yourself. 1 means you don't agree with that at all, and 10 means I absolutely agree, and anywhere in between. So you can rate a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1 means I don't agree at all. 10 means absolutely 100% agree. So I want you to do it as a stream of consciousness writing, which means you don't edit it, you don't try to figure it out, you just write down the first thing that comes up, the first rating. So you ready? Money is the root of all evil. So write down your number, 1 through 10. And the next one, number 2, it's more enlightened to be poor than rich. It's more enlightened to be poor than rich. Number 3, most rich people probably did something bad or dishonest to get their money. Most rich people probably did something bad or dishonest to get their money. Number 4, having a lot of money will make me less spiritual or pure. Having a lot of money will make me less spiritual or pure. Number 5, getting rich takes too much work and struggle. Getting rich takes too much work and struggle. And number 6, having a lot of money is a big responsibility. Having a lot of money is a big responsibility. Number 7, I don't feel good enough to be rich. I don't feel good enough to be rich. And number 8, realistically, chances are I'll never be rich. Realistically, chances are I'll never be rich. Number 9, getting rich isn't for people like me. Getting rich isn't for people like me. And number 10, getting rich is a matter of luck or fate. Getting rich is a matter of luck or fate. So now what I'd like for you to do is to go ahead and add up your score. Add up all the numbers you wrote down. See what your total is. And then once you've done that, if you scored over 50, I'd say there's some work to be done around your prosperity consciousness. And if you scored 5 or above on any one of these statements, take a look at the statements and circle the ones that you scored 5 and above on. And that's going to give you an insight as to what your belief systems are. So think about it. If you feel like rich people are bad, then why would you want to become one? Most of us just want to be liked. So if you have a belief system down in that unconscious head of yours that rich people are bad or dishonest, then you're going to have a belief system that will keep you limited as to, I'm not going to become one of those. That's just an example of how our belief systems permeate through our life, and it keeps us limited. So I wanted to keep this screen up here so you can go ahead, if you scored 5 and above on any of them, go ahead and write those down so that you can know that is something I really would like to look at, shifting. And what is that about? And what we just did is a very, very small slice of discovery about our bubble talk. And you might say, Burge, what is bubble talk? Well, bubble talk is that unconscious thought that keeps us from getting what we want. Have you ever seen those little cartoon characters that have the bubble above their head and you know they're thinking something? That is your unconscious belief system. So you may be saying something out loud such as, I want to have a great relationship with someone, but if your bubble talk is saying, I'm unwanted, or I'm not good enough, or whatever it is, then you can see that your bubble talk could be getting in your way of what you want. So it kind of works like this. Here are the different bubbles that we may have, and we all have this core bubble. So our core bubble can actually affect our money bubble, our health bubble, our love bubble, our faith bubble. Some of us may have given up on our faith, or given up hope, or not sure about what's next for us. So we have this core bubble that we're holding. And let's say that our core bubble is, I am not good enough. That will affect everything in our life. Now, you can have money and not have love, or you can have great health and not have money. So you can mix it up a little bit. But in order to have it all, first of all, you have to have the belief that you can have it all, and then you look at what is it that's keeping me in my core, what's my core bubble, what's keeping me blocked. So what we do in the weekend is we help you blow away those bubbles. So you would replace that from I am not good enough to I am good enough. And it sounds really simple, and it is very, very simple. However, it's not very easy for some people. So we help you learn how to do that easily and effortlessly. See, our belief systems create our thoughts, and our thought creates reality and our perceptions of how we think life is. And we are the architect of our life. So think about an architect for a minute. They have a thought, so they create something from nothing. They see it in their mind's eye, and they create things from that mind's eye and make it real. And just like a playwright does the same thing, thinks of all these characters. So we're our own playwright. We create all these characters and create how these characters are going to interact with us. And that creates our life. Just like a composer has all of these thoughts and this music in her or his head. And then it becomes music. And just like if we had things that our belief systems are, let's say, playing it one way and our positive conscious thoughts are playing it a different way, it's not going to sound so good. So what we strive for is to create harmony in our symphony of life. Ooh, that sounded good, didn't it? Create harmony in our symphony of life. So just like the engineer, again, design our life the way we want it. And engineers have a thought first, and then they make something from nothing. So it translates in our everyday life like that. We can design it just like the engineers do. And this person is one of our graduates, Colin Tipping. He's Mr. Radical Forgiveness. And he declared his path to writing his book and doing his radical forgiveness work in our advanced graduate course. And we've done many, many courses with him and helped him with where he is today. He didn't let his fear stop him. So let's go and play another game to see if you won't let your fear stop you. So go ahead and look at the screen, and I want you to write down these 9 dots. Now, if you've done this before, just go ahead and do it differently because there are many ways to do this. So those of you who cannot see the screen and you're just listening on a call, you're putting 9 dots together, 3 across and 3 down. And so you have a square of 9 dots. Now what I want you to do is I want you to connect all 9 dots with 4 straight lines or less without picking up your pencil or retracing it. So connect all 9 dots without picking up your pencil or retracing it with 4 straight lines or less. You can do less than 4 if you want. But try it with 4. So go ahead and keep trying and see if you can. I'm going to give you a few minutes to try it. And if you mess up, you just put another set of 9 dots up there. So how many of you need more time? That's a joke. And another joke is, how many of you think more time is going to help? But keep trying. You can do it. So I'm going to give you one way to do it here. Okay, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but if you watch the screen, I'm going to give you the way to do it. So the first thing I do is you draw a straight line all the way across the top, and you go outside that dot there, and then you draw the second straight line down, and then you draw the third straight line back up, and then you draw the fourth line through the rest of them down. Hopefully you all can see the screen and see what I'm talking about. So, yay, what did I have to do in order to connect all 9 dots with 4 straight lines? I had to what? Go outside the box. I had to get out of my comfort zone. So see, many of us are afraid to get out of our comfort zone. We may not like where we're at in one particular area of our life, or maybe more than one, but it's comfortable and it's what we know. So we don't have a good why to get out of it. So we stay in our comfort zone. So what's going to happen here is, what did I have to do? I had to go outside that box. So get out of the box. Who put you in that box? Who said you had to stay within the lines? We've all been taught, stay within the lines. You can't. You shouldn't. You better not. All of those things we've been told in different ways. And so what keeps us in that box? Well, our habits, our attitudes, our beliefs, and our expectations. So any habits that we have keeps us in there because it's always been the same way. Our attitude, we just say, well, it's just easier this way because it's what I know. And our beliefs are that that's what we have to do. We can't do it any other way. Our parents didn't do it any other way. Our teachers told us no other way. Our religion tells us no other way. And then our expectations keep us there. It keeps us in our limiting belief. Because sometimes we have expectations about ourselves. And if we don't rise to the occasion of what we have expected of ourselves, then we start self-sabotaging and feeling bad and guilty. And it's a perpetuating cycle. And so what we do in the weekends and what we do in all of our workshops that we have available and all of the learnings and all of the support that we give you, first you identify what those are, and then you have to give yourself permission to get out of the box. You're the only one that's going to give yourself permission. And I encourage all of you to give yourself permission to get out of your box. And I'm giving you a way to do it. And if you're tired of the way things have been, then go ahead and give yourself permission. Someone who gave herself permission to get outside of her box was Trish Carr. She's with the Women's Prosperity Network, and she said, look, the message I received loud and clear was trust and embrace the dance. My results have been extraordinary. My husband suddenly seems more loving and attentive. And this came from my experience at EOB, or Essence of Being. So get out of your box. Give yourself permission to do it, because you may be having these beliefs. I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, and I'm not deserving. So what do you want to have driving your bus from now on for the rest of your life? These beliefs are something different. So a lot of people ask, well, what is enough? And they equate that with, am I enough? Am I enough for my partner? Am I enough for my business? Am I enough for the world? Am I enough for my practice? Am I enough for my love? Am I enough for my children? Am I good enough, smart enough, loved enough, strong enough? And when you ask these questions and you're in the inquiry of all of this, then what happens is it brings up all the things to say yes or no. Yes, you are good enough, or no, you're not. And so just remember, you are the master, not the slave. You're the master. You don't have to be a slave of your feelings, of feeling unworthy or not good enough or not deserving. And you may say, well, I don't have any of those feelings. Okay, that's great. So again, take a look at your life and what do you want to change or shift? And ask yourself, why am I not there yet? So what we do is we help you break out, break through, and break free of any limiting beliefs that you may have. So this person, Jennifer Grace, she did that. She's a Hay House author and a radio show host, and she does workshops herself. And she said, look, I'm a transformational life coach, and I'm not easily impressed. Birds in the Essence of Being workshop blew me away. I thought I'd done all this work. But this course helped me peel yet another layer off, allowing me to touch into the most vulnerable places with fearlessness and grace. Essence of Being is the most creative, unique, and life-changing workshop I have ever taken. So that testimonial blows me away because, again, it's about what we come together as a group in these weekends, and we do them from a point of view of you come in and discover. It's not about me telling you what's the truth. It's about you discovering what's the truth for you. And it's very eclectic. It comes, what I teach in these classes and all of the different learnings that we have come from a lot of different places. They come from R. Buckminster Fuller, his philosophies, Native American philosophy, Law of Attraction, Course in Miracles, quantum physics, business and financial masters, ancient universal principles. So we combine it. It's very eclectic. And what happens is I just give you things that have worked for me. And like I told you in my story, it's worked for thousands of other people. And you get to choose what you want and throw away the rest. I'm going to give you one more look here. This does not just transform you inside, it transforms you on the outside. This person did a class in December in Atlanta. This is her before picture, and this is a week after the class. So she physically transformed right before our very eyes. It's really interesting how emotional and some things just drag us down and make us sick and make us tired. And what Essence of Being does, it's sort of a faith lift, if you will, but also it is an emotional lift, spiritual, physical, and mental lift that gets you to another level. These are meditations. You don't want to listen to them in the car, but you want to listen to them when you are sitting or sitting still. And it's all about success and your inner child and self-love and personal power. And a lot of people that I know use this, so I offer this to you. And also, if all this did for you was to teach you how to create more wealth and freedom, if all this did for you was to clear your blocks of becoming more prosperous, healthy, and peaceful, If all this did for you was to discover and release any negative emotions around money and relationships, if all this did for you was to create a safe, sacred space for you to gain clarity about your higher self and explore your connection to Source, and if all this did for you was to create opportunities to clear your blocks for more money and love and respect, would it be worth the investment? But I thank you for being on the call tonight and on the webinar, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next little bit. And until then, remember, what you focus on expands. Thank you.